Hello, I'm Jeff Siegel, and welcome to SantaAnita.com. Welcome to our Thursday video seminar, and we have a good 8-race program. Let's start things off in the first race, mile and 1/16th claiming event, $10,000 tag, and we're looking at number 2, Capt. Sparrow, as a potential single here. He is 7-5 on the morning line, so no real value in the straight pools. First off, the claim for good trainer Jack Carava, drawn comfortably inside, switching to Rosario, good tactical speed, and a horse who does like to win races. Not a whole lot in here. Captain Spirit, pretty good third last time out, and now with sprinting. I like the stretch out play for him. Should be sharp, and coming out of those series of sprints, should find himself forwardly placed in a rather modest field. Again, no value at 7-5. You want to use him as a rolling exotic single, you can do that, but I do think number 2, Captain Sparrow, looks pretty tough to beat in today's first race. Second race is a maiden special weight. I'm going to go with the inside 2 horses here, numbers 1 and 2. Number 1 is a Jeff Mullins trained filly named Seekitana, and the number 2 horse is Around the Twig. So the inside 2 horses, will use them both in an exacta box and use them both in your rolling exotics. Seekitana didn't show a whole lot in the Midwest, came to Mullins and ran evenly in a decent sort of sprint in her local debut. Since then, she has trained extremely well. She's stretching out again, good inside draw, nice pedigree. Pedroza rides her back. I gotta think Seekitana is going to improve considerably. 6-1 in the morning line. Looks like good value there. Number 2, Around the Twig, is logically the one to beat. She was beaten a half length in a very fast, highly rated race back in late January for Bob Hess. And if she runs anywhere close to that race today, she's going to be hard to handle with Bejarano staying aboard. So our exacta box here, 1 and 2, Seekitana and Around the Twig, and use them both in all of your rolling exotics. Third race is a claiming event. We're going to go with the entry here. Number 1, Runaway Wildcat. Number 1A, Montellano, with preference to the 1A Montellano. These 2 horses actually met recently, and Montellano beat Runaway Wildcat. Now, Runaway Wildcat at the time was trained by Ed Moger, now was claimed by Carava out of that race. And now the 2 horses are stablemates. I don't know if they can run 1-2, but I do definitely like the entry here, with Montellano being my top selection of the 2. Again, he has that improving pattern. I liked his last race. He came away one with something left. His speed figures are going in the right direction, and Garrett Gomez knows him well, rides him back. So number 1A, Montellano, my top selection. The logical favorite here, 6-5 on Polished Nickel. I don't like the pattern here. Certainly fast enough to win. His wet fast track win was very impressive. Claimed 2 runs back for 40, raised to 50. Nice win. Don't see him since late December. Now he's dropping from the maiden 50 down to the $40,000 ranks, not being protected at all. He could have been in some nice races in the interim, so he might have his issues. I don't know. Certainly not the kind of horse I'd like to take 6-5 on. So let's try to beat Polished Nickel, the logical horse, with the 1A Montellano, our top selection in today's third race. Fourth race is a maiden race, maiden claiming race, maiden 20,000. This is bottom rung maiden claimer for older horses. We're going to use 2 horses here. They are numbers 6 and 7 on your program. Number 6 is Jems, and number 7 is Slews Dark Knight. So 6 and 7. Number 6, Jems, second-time starter, had an inside draw in his racing debut, and really didn't break, and just kind of got all messed up. Actually finished evenly. Not a bad effort under the circumstance. I think he can improve off that race. Won't have to improve all that much. So number 6, Jems, logically is going to be tough. Also going to toss in the first-time starter, number 7, Slews Dark Knight, from Neil French's barn. At the end of the year, gelding is trained well enough to give him a chance in a bottom-rung maiden claimer like this. Obviously, a little will go a long way. I'd throw him in, number 7, Slews Dark Knight. So 6 and 7, use them both in all of your rolling exotics. Fifth race, very good allowance race. This is a 2 other than, and there are 3 main contenders, and I can't separate them. The best advice is to use all 3 if you're playing the rolling exotics. Number 3, Hyades. Number 7, Bogie. And number 8, Dubai UXYZ. They're very hard to separate. Hyades comes off the layoff, last seen finishing 5th in the Eddie Reed. Before that, a very good 3rd in the American, and before that, a very good 2nd in the Charlie Whittingham. So he is coming off a layoff, but he has run well fresh in the past. He's training very well for Ben Cecil. Got to think he's going to come out firing under Victor Espinoza, who knows him well. Number 3, Hyades, a very strong contender at 3-1. Bogie and Dubai UXYZ obviously have the benefit of recent racing. Bogie came off a layoff and was beaten a half length in a similar race. He certainly has a right to move forward. And Dubai UXYZ Sharp in a first level allowance. That was going a mile. The extra distance of today's 9 furlong trip won't bother him, shouldn't bother him. A lightly raced gelding with further improvement in him. He's obviously going to be tough. That's number 8, Do By You XYZ. Tough to separate. I'll use all three. Numbers 3, 7, and 8. No real preference. Bogie at 8 to 5 on the morning line is probably the most likely of the winners, but I don't think he's that much better than the rest that he has to be singled. So, see what happens in the 5th race, 3, 7, and 8 to use in your exotics. 6th race, I'm going to pass this race. Can't get a handle on it. It's a race for 3-year-old fillies and for 30,000. Abbreviated sprint of 5 furlongs. Nothing but cheap speed in here, and I mean really cheap speed. Number 2, Go Sophia. Has got some zip. She's never wanted to finish, but maybe at 5'8" she'll hang on. Number 3, Queen of California, another one with tremendous amount of early zip, but finds nothing off the bridle when she's put to pressure. But with P-Val aboard, she just might be the quickest of the quick. I don't know of any late speed here, so maybe she'll win. There's a couple of firsters who look interesting, but I'm going to pass this race. I don't trust anything in the race, so no play for me in today's 6th race. Moving to the 7th race. This is a very good down-the-hill 6.5 grass sprint. And another race you might want to spread if you're playing rolling exotics. I'm going to go 2 deep here using number 7, Dependable, also number 10, Diamond Geezah. There's a few others in here that look intriguing, like Sierra Spirit, number 6, number 8, Speed Bias, even the second time in the country horse, Chin and Tonic from Darrell Vienna's barn. But basically, I'm going to go 2 deep. Number 7, Dependable, won his only start last July as a 2-year-old sprinting on the grass. Looked actually pretty good doing it. And then he disappeared. But he's coming back. The work seemed pretty solid for Bob Baffert. Rosario, who rode him to that win, rides him back. So number 7, Dependable, is at 9 to 2 in the morning line. I think you got to use him. And number 10, Diamond Geezah, comes off a nice win over the course. He's coming back pretty quickly here, just 2 weeks, but he has that good stalking style from Mitchell. Halamo rides him back, and with that win over the course, he certainly has a right to improve. And even if he doesn't, if he runs back to his last race, he's right there. So use number 10, Diamond Geezah. So 7 and 10, the comebacking number 7, Dependable, number 10, Diamond Geezah. I would use them both in all of your rolling exotics. 8th and final maiden claiming event for 3-year-old fillies and for $30,000. We'll go 3 deep here using numbers 1, 2, and 4 on your program. Number 1 is Katelyn and Jenna. Number 2 is Express Herself. And number 4 is Homework. So an exacta or trifecta box of numbers 1, 2, and 4. Number 1, Katelyn and Jenna did not break from the rail at all in her debut and really didn't show anything, but she has trained before and after then. I'm going to give her another chance with Talamo riding her back for Mitchell. So number 1, Katelyn and Jenna, a contender, as is the first-time starter. Number 2, Express Herself, bred for speed by Expression. It's training well enough for Craig DeLassy to give her a chance for his crack out of the box. And number 4, Homework. Blinkers back on. She's had 7 chances, but her last race was decent. It was a turf paradise, you realize, but she might be the kind of filly who can sit back and maybe pass a few. Going 5/8 of a mile, you know, it could be. We could have a meltdown here, and then Homework actually backing up in trip just might be able to pass a few. She's shown that ability, so throw her in as well. So numbers 1, 2, and 4, Katelyn and Jenna, Express Herself, and Homework. I'd use all 3 in all of your rolling exotics. So a good Thursday program. Thanks for joining us here on SanAnita.com. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.